Okay, so we are still in the first attack phase. We saw previously how to do a recon action, and we also can do an assault action. So you need to select a adjacent Japanese unit as a target, and you need to select up to 2 US units for performing that assault. You cannot choose US unit that have a disorganized retreat marker, or that they have a situation marker where they are showing that they already perform a recon assault action. That is the top icon, the blue one, this type of icon. And you have up to 3 units, additional units for providing support. As we saw with the Japanese unit in here for the US, we have the combat strength, the movement allowance, and we have here the type of combat support and the value of the combat support. So in this one, we have artillery with a value of 2. So you can select up to 3, and they could be also the one that they are performing the assault. When you are performing an assault, you are providing the combat factor of those units. In this case, for example, if we were attacking this one with these 2 units, they are providing both 4 combat strength, and there will be 8 against the Japanese unit. If you want also to provide combat support, you can select the combat support from the 2 units. So it will be 2 artillery, 2 tanks, and you can select any other unit in range that could provide that factor. For example, if this unit were here, you could select also this unit to provide combat support for flamethrowers for this assault. So for example, in this situation, if you were attacking with these 2, this one cannot be subject to attack, to do the assault, because you already performed, but it could use support. And we check we have support tanks. So this one will be subject to do the assault action. This one can be also chosen for the support, which is flamethrowers. And this one, since it's indicating that the combat support is not taken yet, only the recon assault action, could be providing the 2 tanks combat support. The Japanese unit can also use combat support. When they are revealed, they are indicating the combat factor, the defense type, that it's going to provide a die roll modifier, and the combat support. But they can also be supported by other units. If other units are adjacent to the target being attacked, it's going to provide the combat support. For example, if these 2 units are attacking this one, this combat unit has a combat support of 1 artillery and 1 tank, because this one is adjacent to this one. When you attack units that are completely revealed, you just check the information on the counters. But when you attack units that they are hidden, there's something very important that you need to do. Like if you're attacking this one, you need to take an intel counter from the red bag and reveal it. So when you're attacking the target, the first unit the first counter that you're going to take, you're going to take the defense value, which is this side. This is a support. So you place it on top. So temporarily, I mean, at this time, you don't know what's really behind, but at the moment you're attacking this unit with these values. It's a 1 combat factor, defense type A, and you see a question mark here because we don't know yet the combat support. So you need to draw an additional counter, and this time using the combat support side of the intelligent counter, and it's indicating that it has 2 artillery and 2 tanks. But also this unit that is hidden, you need to draw 1 additional counter, also showing the combat support side, and it's providing a support of 2 tanks. So in overall, when you are attacking this unit, you will need to count that it has a combat support of 2 artillery and 4 plus 2 4 tank. If the units adjacent are revealed, we checked it previously, you don't need to take intelligence counter because all the information is here. So in this case, if this was a reveal, you're attacking this one. So you will have 2 artillery and 2 tanks and 2 anti-tanks. There is something important that you need to know. It's that you can draw from the intelligence bag a banzai relocation market and a reaction market, what it's called. One side showing banzai and the other it's a redeployment of Japanese units. You reveal this one. If you are attacking this unit and the first counter that you reveal is this one, you need to resolve the reaction. So in this case, a reaction, you need to roll and check if it's taking the if it's doing a banzai or relocation. Like basically you need to roll like a 6 or more for performing a banzai. So you check in the market reaction, everything is playing the player A also very well. And if the game turn it's a 4 to 6, the roll has a +1. Game turn 7 to 9, a +2, an additional -1 if Japanese HQ has been eliminated. And if you get a 5 or less, you do a redeployment. If you have a 6 or more, you do a banzai. Well, when you do a banzai, what you have to do is it's roll the red die. It's a 4 and it's going to indicate, say a 4, it's indicating assign 1 hit to the US unit. So 1 or 2 will be no effect, and 5 or 6 they assign 2 hits to the US unit. So you need to choose which one it's taking 1 hit and indicate it here, taking 1 hit. Then you have to roll immediately a blue die. That's the reaction for the US units, 4, and it says with a 6 the Japanese unit takes 2 hits. If you have 1 to 5, the Japanese is launching the banzai takes 1 hit. So in this case, the unit it's going to be revealed, taking 1 hit, and the action is it goes back to the intelligence bag. So you can keep preparing the attack. So now you don't need to draw any intelligence marker because the unit has been revealed, but you need to do 1 intelligence marker here for their support. And now you're ready for the attack. So you know that you have 2 tanks, and 2 tanks is 4 tanks and 2 artillery. What happens if instead of the banzai, you have to do the relocation, redeployment of that unit? What you need to do is you roll a red die, 5, and it's going to indicate in which sector you need to play to relocate the unit, to redeploy. So 5 is good. It's going to be the eastern sector. This line it's indicating this sector, and if you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 where potential location where to relocate that unit. So you need to reroll the die. It's indicating the 4. So this unit, it's going to be placed here, relocated. They are using the tunnels in the island to for redeployment. And now what happens? Like you were doing the assault, and at the moment the target unit has disappeared. So what you do, you can advance with 1 unit to occupy the empty space. Since this unit it's in SOC, cannot advance, but this one could advance. And if you have on range the possibility to keep performing the assault, you don't lose it, but you do it now. So you start again. So remember this counter goes back always to the intelligence bag, and you start over. So what you need to do, it's like place a defense type here, combat factor 3, that defense type C, the trenches, and you need to draw another one to check the combat support. It's also important to mention that for example, in this case, if you are attacking this one, you take a random intelligence marker from the back here. Now you take another one for the combat support, and you notice that the reaction marker can be drawn when you are trying to provide combat support with the intelligence marker to one of these units, and it could do also a banzai. It will to try to attack the closest unit in case of a tie you will select, or will be doing a redeployment. If doing the redeployment, just do the redeployment according to the rules, and you continue with the combat because you will need to resolve the combat support for this unit too, and then you are ready for the assault. So let's check now the type of combat support for the US unit before seeing the whole sequence of the assault. So we have tanks, these tanks. So you can provide tank support to an adjacent unit, and you will having the full combat support. So if it's completely adjacent, you have 2. you can provide combat support with a unit that it's up to 2 hexes away, like 1, 2, but the combat value will be reduced by 1, so instead of 2 will be 1. Also, you need to be sure that the line of sight it's okay. So in this case that you have full visual to this location, it's okay. If you have a friendly unit in 1 hex, it's no problem. But if you have 2 units in the middle, so you're not able to provide that type of support, like tank support. And there is something important with the terrain level. So in the game, you have different levels. So the highest level is Monsuribashi, Raw, Difficult, Clear, and Beach. So the lowest, and this is the highest. So if the enemy target it's in the same type of terrain, so you can use the same value. But if it's in a different level, for example, if the tanks were being here, they will have a -1 because the enemy it's in a higher position than the US unit with the combat support of tanks combat support. So it's important also to know that if you are 2 hexes away, you have a -1, and it's the enemy is in a higher position, it's another -1, so you're not going to be able to provide support because this value will go to 0. In case the same type of hex, a higher value is that one that has a heal. So in case, for example, this one has a heal and this not. So if the enemy is here and you are trying to provide support from here, since this has a heal, you will have a -1 even if you are adjacent, because you will be considering that your terrain is low in a lower position. So we also have the flamethrowers. As you see, it doesn't have any value here. It's because it's going to depend. It actually has a +1 for your dice roll. It's a +1 dice roll modifier if it's adjacent to an enemy. But if you have more than 1, you can only use 1. So at the end of the day, it's only a +1 because you can use only 1 unit combat support for flamethrowers. And there is something very important, that it's the flamethrowers in tanks, that if you have valid tank combat support and flamethrowers supporting both together to a type of defense A, this is going to have a value, the flamethrower is going to have a value of 2 instead of 1. But only against capes, against defense type A. So if you have B or C types, you will only have a +1. So we have the artillery also. That's the one we saw earlier, the artillery. Artillery, it's a unit that you can use like remotely at any distance from the target. And its support, it's going to be reduced by 1 unless the supporting unit is located on a hex here, or Monsuribashi, or a Japanese fixed artillery hex. That means that if you're supporting this, you're attacking this, you're supporting this adjacent, so you have the full value of 2. Okay, but if you had another artillery unit on map, let's say you have this one over here, so you can support this combat too, and the value of this combat support artillery is going to be reduced by 1 unless this unit is located on a hill, for example here on a hill, so it will keep the 2 value for the artillery, or if it's located in a fixed artillery hex, you will have a 2 value, or if it's in Monsuribashi. If it's in Monsuribashi, you will have the full value. The combat support for the Japanese unit, you have artillery that you just sum the value. You don't have any restriction. If the value says 2, it's going to be 2, no matter the location. For in this case, if you are attacking this unit and this support marker from this unit saying 1, it's because you're going to have 1. Or if you had, for example, like this one providing another one, will be 1 and 1, it's 2, no matter if it's not completely adjacent to the enemy. You sum it, and that's all. You sum the value of a total value of the same type of combat support, and that's what you get. The same happens with the tanks. So in this case, you have a 1, but that's an indicator. It doesn't matter the terrain. The Japanese, you don't need to check that restriction. The number, it's the total number you have, it's what you get. And there's something important about the anti-tank, that when you have anti-tank, for example, let's say that you're doing this attack, you decide to go with combat support for tanks and flamethrowers, and you have this counter over here. The Japanese unit target has 2 anti-tanks, and the unit supporting here adjacent to the target has another 1. So in total, you have 3. So the Japanese has to roll for the anti-tank. So you make a roll with the red die. If the result is equal or less than the sum of the anti-tank values, so the US tank combat support will be neutralized, so you cannot use it for this assault. So in this case, Japanese roll a 4, so you are good, you can use it. But if he roll like 1 or 2 or 3 in this case, because the total is 3, so you cannot use the combat support from that unit, and you will be attacking only with a support of flamethrowers. So we have another value for the support of the Japanese unit, that is a HQ. Headquarter. So if you're attacking this unit, you will have a -1 modifier showing here in the value, and all adjacent units that you attack adjacent to this counter, it will have a -1 too. We have other modifiers. When you're attacking a C-type Japanese, it's trenches, you don't have modifier. When you attack a B-type, it's a pillbox, so you will be getting a -1, and when you attack a cave, you will have a -2. You can do also flank attacks. If you are attacking from 2 different hexes, and you have an empty hexes in the middle, so this one, it's not a flank attack, but if you are attacking from 2 hexes different, and one in the middle it's empty, for example, this one will be also considered. In that case, you will have a +1 against B or C types. If you have a cave, you cannot do flanking. And it's very important, the modifier for the terrain. If the Japanese target, it's on a hill, or if it's in Monsuribashi, you will have a -1 die roll modifier. If you are attacking unit in a hill, you will have a -1.